So we're here at the menu screen with Blossom, the seed of life. We're going to go ahead and get into new game. There's two different difficulties you can start out with. There's one survival, and if you want something that's a little bit more casual for you to get yourself in, you can go with explorer. It's a lot more forgiving. I'm going to start with survival because I actually played quite a bit of the demo, and I'm digging it. Okay, so what is this game? What's going on? Okay, we're a bot, presumably named Blossom, based on the story. We've been programmed to collect, sort, and build to terraform planets. But I've lost communication with my makers, and my storage memories are not intact. So we're here on our own. All right? Something has happened, and we're not really sure what because our memories were erased. Okay, so we're on the surface with barely any power. There's an overcharged small battery right here, meaning that it currently contains more power than it's supposed to have because this is a small battery, but it's to help us get started in playing, okay? So I can plug myself into this, and that's how I charge myself up. Okay. Next, we've got this big door in front of us, okay? And this battery, by the way, it does have a finite amount of power, and eventually it will run out. So we better get going on generating our own power before the 734 power remaining in this battery is gone. This door here has power sockets as well, and it actually requires 10 power to open it. So we can plug in the door to the socket, charge it up, and now the door can open. We don't need it plugged in all the time. We just needed it once. There we go. So here is the world around us right now. We have been programmed to terraform planets, and this is where we are. But we don't have a whole lot of memories from our past. We better start by getting resources. And you can see iron deposits here, but we need to get mining modules, okay? So inside the pod, we have this crafting station, which is currently not powered. Guess what? We can power it. That also means that everything we craft is going to pull power from this finite source. So we better make it count, especially in survival mode where everything is a little bit more harsh. So the crafting station is going to allow us to craft any recipes that we are familiar with. One is an encryption key, which we're going to need to take control of the escape pod's control systems. And then the other is mining modules, better backpacks, etc. So let's go ahead and start by getting a mining module. This is automatically installed on our body, so we can just go ahead and use it if we want to. And we can start by getting some iron ore right over here. Of course, as you might expect, mining also consumes power, which is represented by the power meter on our back there. So again, we need to do things with purpose, not willy-nilly, because there's a lot of survival elements to this game. You might be wondering what happens if your power dies. Well, don't worry, you'll spawn back in here, and your body and all the stuff that was on it will be somewhere else, wherever it is that you fell. So I've got 4 iron ore here, and there's a medium backpack. I'll go ahead and just make this. And now I've got a medium backpack. It comes with more storage slots. There's 6 slots now instead of 4. I think there might have been 6 before, I don't forget. But also much bigger battery capacity, right? So let's plug ourselves in. There we go. Okay. Now, we could just leave this unplugged. And, if you're paranoid, we can go ahead and do that. But this is only going to consume power when we make things. So it doesn't matter if we leave it plugged into the crafting station. It's only going to, do that when we make things. So it's okay to do this, is what I'm saying. But just for now, I'm going to leave it unplugged because I'm a little paranoid, actually. I don't know about survival mode. All right, we have some controls over there. We have some objectives over there on the left. It says all alone, out of control. You need to craft an encryption key and insert that into the control panel here. The encryption key, oh, well, hang on, we need power for it. The encryption key is right here. We need 1 regolith chunk and 1 copper ore. We also have the possibility to get even more upgrades now, including a better mining module, which speeds up mining. A sprint module, which is going to let me run faster, but it does consume more power. A light module letting me see in the dark better, and then a larger backpack, which is something I definitely want. So we have sulfur ore and silica ore to get this, and copper ore and silica ore to get this. Okay, so let's go out and find this stuff, yeah? So this is iron. We don't need any more iron for the purposes of the recipe we're looking for. This tiny little piece here is a regolith chunk. We can grab that. We can also mine them. We can also mine them from bigger chunks as well. This is copper. So go ahead and grab a couple of copper because we're going to need that. And then we want to also find some silica as well. And silica, I think, is over on that mountain over there. Yeah. So there's some silica over there. We don't want to run around too much because it consumes power, right? But, you know, we want to do things with a purpose in the beginning, not waste any power is essentially what I'm saying. And because of that, since I've got a lot of resources already in my backpack, I'm only going to be able to store one more. You can't carry anything in your hands. It's just on the backpack. So let's go back to our place over here. And we can drop it off in this storage cupboard that's back here. This little storage area. We can drop these off. This is going to give me more carrying capacity, which is great. I'm going to really quickly go ahead and... well, I'm trying to disconnect. There we go. Let's go ahead and plug ourselves in really fast because we're going to need that power. And we'll go ahead and disconnect from there. Okay. So I've got this regolith chunk on my back. And I need to go get the silica. I did take off the right direction, right? Yeah, it's over here. Okay. And we can't get the big one. It's going to require a little bit more beefy of a laser. We'll get that later. But we can get these smaller ones. It takes more energy to get these, though. They're a little harder to mine, so they take a little more energy to get them. But we need them. Yeah, see how much that kills my battery? It's insane. Really brings it down. Okay, time to run. I wasn't quite able to get that second piece in this trip here. In Explorer mode, you could totally do that. I'm going to grab this too while I'm here. Here we go. In Explorer mode, I could totally do that, but not in Survivor mode. You just don't have the energy in your battery to do this. Systems are shutting down. Ah. Let's go ahead and fill our batteries back up here really quick. And let's see what we can do as far as getting this backpack, because I would really like to get the backpack with the resources we have, if possible. That will really help out a lot. So the backpack requires one sulfur module. Okay, I have an idea where that is, but I don't have it yet. And then also, if we get a bunch of iron ore, we might be able to run a little bit faster, which could be good. A better mining module to make it faster. I think that's probably a really good idea. So why don't we grab both of these copper pieces here? And we'll go ahead and get this. Oh, I need the silica ore. Did I put it? I must have put, yeah, I did. Okay, so we're going to take and swap this with the regolith chunk. There we go. Now we have the silica on us, and we can go ahead and get the mining module too, which will just make the mining process faster, which is going to make it easier for me to go ahead and, and get that. So we're going to take and just leave. We can leave with it plugged in on our backs. It'll just automatically unplug as we run out. And this silica piece was almost mined entirely when we got there. It was almost done. I think it was like 5% left or something. So it should be fairly quick. I believe the progress is sustained. Yeah, between sessions. There we go. So we have that. And then I should have enough, I think, with this extra speed to be able to get this one. Just the one for now. And that should be enough to get me what I need. Now I need sulfur. So we'll have to look at that too. There's also this box on the ground. These are blueprints. And we'll eventually need to collect 5 of these to get started on our initial stuff. But there's a blueprint right here for a power extender. It's a very important module. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. Whoops, I don't want... Oh, yeah. Okay, tell you what. Give me that back. The regolith can stay. I don't have my big backpack yet. Still working on that. So we're going to want to go over and find some sulfur as well. And let's go ahead and place the blueprints here because it's not useful yet. So we're going to place the blueprint on the storage shelf right here. And then I'm just going to store these things here for now so I have extra room. Let's go ahead and do that. And I want to see if the sulfur is... Because this is actually different. When you load the map, everything is different than previous playthroughs. So I actually don't know the map. I've went through the demo, and the demo has, you know, its own map or whatever, but this is very different from the demo because there used to be a giant crater next to my base, and now I don't have that. So I'm gonna have to learn where everything is all fresh, which I think is I actually kind of prefer that, honestly. I mean, how much fun would it really be if I just knew where everything was already? For some people, I think they would probably like it more, but it generates the map when you start the game. So I think all of our maps, if you're playing this game as well, link in the description, by the way, if you want to learn more about it. I gotta find sulfur. I'm gonna search around for some sulfur, and when I get it, then I'll bring you guys back in. It's a lot of running in the beginning, but it's not a running simulator. Okay, you're not gonna do a ton of running like this in the game. Because there are vehicles, you just have to earn your way up to them. So there's a lot of this in the beginning, but not like throughout the whole game. And you know, I don't know about the later parts of the game because I've only played the demo. But I'm interested to see how things shift from there. So we actually have another blueprint here, which I like. But the problem with having all of these blueprints right now and finding them now is that I don't have anywhere to store them, which is kind of an issue. But luckily, when you swap things out, they just end up sitting on the ground. So if I wanted to get, like, say, iron, for example, I could just mine it and pick it up and have it replace the blueprints. But for now, I'm going to pick up and put the blueprint like this and get the other resources instead. All right, let me see what I can do here on this crafting station. See if I can make anything here. Anything that matters. So still waiting for the copper. Oh, I need copper ore for that, and then we're done. Yeah. Okay, I'll just go get the copper ore then. So copper ore is... There's a big piece right there. I just want a small one. A small one that's close. I guess this one will do. And I'll have to give up one of my regolith pieces to get it. But this will let me get at least that, which will free up some backpack space too. And then eventually, once we get this encryption key done, we can then unlock the printer and then get those blueprints started. So here's the encryption key. We'll go ahead and place that in. And now I want to place it in the control panel here. Now, there's in tutorial and stuff, you can see all the different descriptions of everything. And it's all kind of written in this first person sort of robot talking to himself nature. I love it. It's great. You can read those things if you'd like to. But we're going to insert the encryption key in here. Now that puts a box down here. And that box is going to allow us to place our own printer. And this is what's going to ultimately end up building our base. I do want this kind of close, but it's also able to print in a radius around itself. So I sort of want this to be sticking out a little bit, I guess. So why don't we go ahead and place it about maybe, how about right here? So this printer is going to let us, we need to hook it up to power first though. So to power this up, what we need to do is unplug, and then we're going to place the battery and we're going to hook it up to this slot here. Then on the other side, we're going to grab another one here and plug it into here. That's going to allow the power to pass through from the battery into the printer. And temporarily, that's how we have to do it. So again, everything we print, it's going to cost us that power. So we need to make sure we're pretty intentional with it. So we need to upgrade our backpack again, and that's a pretty essential thing. And in order to do that, I do have to unplug the printer, but it's okay. I want to get rid of these blueprints. So I'm actually going to go ahead and plug the printer back in. And then find the blueprint console, which is right here. So we're going to place these discs inside, and it's going to unlock recipes for us to be able to craft them. It also gets rid of, the blueprint unit, so it frees up my storage space a little bit. So let's grab this too. There we go. And we'll get these 4 blueprints in there. There we go. Power extender. There's a terraform analyzer there. Okay. So that gives us some stuff. So as we're making things, we can see them here. So we can make a drill T1, a terraform analyzer. We have a power extender and a fuel generator. This is a very important thing because it's going to allow us to have a source of power when that battery inside that capsule dies. So it's very important to get this set up. We don't have any batteries yet, though. That might be the thing that's missing. But the internal, the craft in there is a battery as well, right? And that, as long as it's plugged in right here, that will work. So a power extender is going to be really helpful. And we have this little battery here in the meantime. So let's plug this into the crafting station. I want to get a better backpack, and that is sulfur. So I'm going to need to wander around a little bit and see if I can find that sulfur. And then we'll go in here and I'll have a larger backpack. Okay, I've been doing a little circle around my base just to kind of see where it is, because usually it spawns near you. And I basically did an entire 360. I started in the wrong direction. That's basically it. But all of that down there is the sulfur. And I'm thinking I might have enough power to get a little bit. And I'm going to try to get this little piece right here because it's close enough to the base for me to get back if I drain all my power mining it. So let's go ahead and try to get this. Yeah, that was pretty close. Okay, we're at 15%. And I got a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and recharge. And then go back over and get some more so I can get my bigger backpack. Actually, I just needed the one. So there it is. The bigger backpack is going to be here. So we'll go ahead and craft it, and we're good to go. And then I need to plug myself back in. Now I have a lot more power, and I can also see a digital readout of what my power is, as well as how much energy I'm currently consuming. So as I run later on, you'll see that little power gauge, that red semicircle around the 98, 97. It's kind of an indication of how much power I'm currently using. I'd like to get the sprint module if I could, though, because it definitely is going to help me in running around. I'm running quite slowly. So we're going to take a look at construction module. Is a very good thing to get. And then the info modules have versions to them, all the way up to version 3, where it gradually shows me more and more information about my surroundings. And that's a very good thing to have as well. We have a lot more recipes for things that we know how to make now. So I think what I want is to get the info modules. And for that, we need regolith chunks. So the first one is, I'm going to have to go out and get the regolith chunks. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get our info module here. This is going to require 2 of our regolith chunks. And then our construction module also is going to be able to get built. And that is the copper ore. It's going to enable us to construct, deconstruct, movement and rotation of machines and buildings, which is very important for our mission. So let's go ahead and get this, and then also the construction module as well. Okay, now info module V2 is going to require us to get a little bit more iron, and that's it. So all I got to do is go outside and grab iron, which is pretty easy to grab. We'll just do this. There we go. Grab a couple of pieces here, and we can go in and get info module V2. These optional objectives, I like to kind of do them if I could. Okay, and now V3 is going to require us to have a little bit more copper. So let's really quick go ahead and charge ourselves up. And we are at how much power now left in this battery? It is only at 464. So it is getting low, but that's okay. Let's grab some copper and we'll have more information, including, you can see at the top of the screen now, we kind of have this compass, right? It shows that we're looking northeast now, right? And then we can also see some objectives. Like, for example, I know the remaining blueprint module that I don't have is in that direction now. Because I have that info module, it's going to show me and detect those types of things. But we definitely want to get the, as much information as possible is ideal. And then the sprinter as well, because, man, I'd really like to run faster. So we'll get that. Oh, I need 1 more copper. My bad. Okay, we're going to get the info module V3, and it's going to add planet information to our HUD. So now we'll get to know a little bit more about what's going on around us. So we can see the pressure, upper right corner. I don't know. Oh, that's coordinate information. So we have our exact position on the planet, which is really helpful if we find something, but we want to go back to it. We can make a little note down and say, hey, this is the coordinates, and then kind of work our way towards it, which will be fun. And then we can also see what day it is. Sol 1, it's considered spring at the moment, but clearly this planet is not very inhabitable. But the landscape around us is going to change a lot as we play. Because this is a terraforming game, we're going to be doing what we can to make the planet a bit more habitable, right? And then finally, we're going to grab the sprint module, which just increases our running speed by 100%, which is going to be very nice. And then it doesn't look like we're going that fast, but I can actually toggle it. And we're actually able to run a little bit faster. But this is going to use a little bit more power too, but it's going to help a lot in getting around and going the places where we need to go, where we want to go. We also don't use nearly as much power when we jump. So if we sprint first and then jump, we can kind of go a longer distance with less power that way. So if you see me doing this a lot, that's why I'm trying to minimize my power while I run. Okay, so I'm looking at the printer. It doesn't have any power, so let's really quick go in and try to connect this. There we go. And then the printer right now, we have the power extender and the fuel generator. This is what we want to ultimately get to here. To get this, we need composite metal and copper wire. So those are both recipes that we have in the crafting station right now. And I can tell you that copper wire is done with 2 copper. Composite metal is 1 regolith and one iron. Also, we don't have any light because it's nighttime now. And since I didn't install the light module, it's going to be very hard for me to see. So I guess we're going to have to go in to get the light module as well, yeah? So here's our regolith chunks. We're going to go ahead and grab those. And then I need to go out and get the copper because, like I said, it's going to become very hard to see if I don't have light. So this is a copper chunk right here. We're just going to go ahead and grab this really quick. There we go. And now I should be able to build the stuff I need to build, including a battery. A fuel. Our fuel generator takes regolith, I believe. So we can do regolith oxide rods. and get that going too. But obviously we want the light module too. So now I can have a flashlight at least and be able to see things. And yes, I do use more power with this, but it's the only way you can really, I mean, I guess if you want squint or you have a really great monitor, you could, you know, do more with this if you want. But let's try to conserve energy as much as I can during the night and continue from here. So the next thing I want to make is composite metal, and I require iron ore for that. It's pretty easy to get. So I'm going to grab a little bit of iron right here. And then obviously my mining modules and stuff are much faster as well. So we're able to get resources a lot quicker now too than we did at the beginning. We're going to scale this stuff up as much as we can. There we go. So let's go ahead in here and I can grab my composite metal like that. And then this is not plugged in. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Well, no, I need copper wire first. Okay, I already know what the recipe is. I need copper wire. So let me go out and get another bit of copper. Those are all iron. That's copper right there. So we'll just really quick run over here and get some copper as well. There we go. Okay, we'll make our way back. And we should have enough now to make our first fuel generator. And I already have the regolith rod that goes with it here, this oxide rod. This is going to be, again, our fuel for our power generator. So there's our copper wire. And so now I should be able to plug this in right here. And then we'll go over and make what we need. So this is our fuel generator T1. And when we do this, it gives us an interface that's going to let us build it. And we can kind of put it wherever we want, but it's a really good idea, I think, to place this out of the way. Like, in my opinion, it should be out of the way because there's a lot of things I'm going to interact with. And like lots of storage and stuff around this. I don't want to place this super close to here because I'm going to be using this for storage for a lot of times. And then this is a wide open area that we can put the much bigger modules later. So I'm actually thinking my power generation is going to be back here. So I'm going to place this power generator right here. If it lets me. It's not letting me place it. Let me just... Right there is good. All right, there we go. So there's my power generator, but let me go ahead and break this down because this is useless. Okay, so from this, we want to plug it into the hab. So we can plug this in over here like that. And then if this thing is plugged into the same socket, I think it has to be plugged into the same socket in order to actually function that way. That's fine though, because we're going to actually make one of the power extenders as well. And for that, I need another composite metal. And composite metal is what? Let me just redo this really quick. What is composite metal comprised of? It's a regolith chunk, right? So I have an extra regolith chunk right here, I thought. Yes. So let's go ahead and grab that. Nope, that's not it. I thought I grabbed the regolith chunk, but it's not. Okay, so that's the rod. Okay, so we want to grab a regolith. So any regolith chunk out here would work just fine. I think I walked past one over here. There it is. So we'll just grab this really quick, and then the oxide rod that I made before, that goes in the generator, and there's a slot for 2 of these things. So I place one in here, and there will be, you know, it'll run, right? So it'll generate power and uses the fuel. Now it's only supposed to run when there's something to charge. In this case, it was me. I'm plugged into it. I grabbed the hose and I'm plugged into it. But now it's going to cool down, and then it picks up, and then it cools down. And it's going to keep me at 99 because of that, right? But we're going to just detach it right now because I don't want to burn that fuel. And it looks like, based on how fast that fuel went down, I'm going to need a lot more of those regolith rods. Wow. In Explorer mode, that does not go down that fast at all. So that was a lot faster than before. Okay, so I had the composite. Let's go ahead and grab you and put you back on the wall right here. And now I want to build one of these power extenders. So the power extender, I'm going to place this, I think, right here for now. I want it kind of out of the way. So I'm going to place it like right here for now. That'll be good enough. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have this is going to get plugged from here. We're going to have this plugged directly into this. Okay. And now when this is plugged into the wall right there, we have it power sourced in right here. We can bring you over and plug that in. And then we can also bring this over and get that plugged in. But here's the thing. I don't really need this plugged in yet because I still have that battery. And this is going to run, yes, but that battery is still overcharged, right? So let me just take a look at this really quick. This battery is still overcharged by how much? How much? 321. So there's still some power left in this. And I'm going to take full advantage of that. So we're going to use the crafting station and this battery with the crafting station. And then for this, we're going to have this set up to where it's plugged into the generator. And so now this is only going to power things when we need it over here, is the idea anyway, unless I'm mistaken, because there shouldn't be any reason to power this right now. But it's still running, which is surprising. It shouldn't be... Well, that station requires 1 power, I guess, even though it's not running, which is interesting. So now I guess whenever I want to run that and build something, I'm going to have to plug it into the generator. Until we get a really firm grasp on our power situation, that's how I'm going to run that. So I can't look at the printer without it being plugged in. But I can use this, and we're only going to see this stuff, charge when necessary. And I think if we get ourselves another battery, I think that's the biggest thing. If you can get yourself another battery, batteries only output when they're needed, and the generator will plug into a battery and charge the battery to full. So I think that's what we need. We need a battery between these two things. Otherwise, that has to stay on because it might be needed at any moment. So I'm thinking that's how that works. Could be wrong there though. So let me go ahead and get an overlay module. Give me a power overlays, planet overlays, things like that is probably good. But there's one more that we need to get, and that's the blueprint, right? We need the blueprint, and that, I think that's the battery module. Honestly, the one I'm missing, I think is that. So let me go ahead and plug this back in. I'm gonna go just for a little run here in that direction. You see the compass at the top of the screen showing me exactly where it is. There it is. It was right here next to me the whole time. And we'll go ahead and pop this into the printer. There's the battery. Yes, T1 battery. So that's what we need to create next. And I believe we need... I don't know if we need the regular chunks, but I'm going to grab them anyway because apparently we need to make a lot of fuel for that thing. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, let's plug you in. No, we'll do it this way because it's a little bit more efficient to do it this way. We'll plug you in. Whoops. Oh, no. Plug you in here. Yep, and then plug you in here. Here we go. Okay. So this one, place it into here to get the blueprint. There we go. And now to get the battery, we need a power cell. But now we have the recipe for the power cell. So the recipe for the power cell, you can see it from the crafting station. So let's just kind of... Can I destroy this? Disconnect. It's fine. It's fine. Plug it in again. There we go. And yes, the rod needs to be made too. I want this. So it's 1 sulfur, 1 copper. Okay, we're going to make the rod. Gets it out of my inventory. And I want to place this rod in the other fuel slot here. There we go. And now I need copper and more sulfur. Sulfur was this way. So I'm going to go get that stuff and build a battery. I think I want 3. To be honest, I think I want 3 batteries. All right, we'll make a couple of power cells here. I can't store enough stuff to make 3 batteries on me because I only have 6 slots on this, but it's okay. And then we're going to come over. We need to connect this to power once more. So let's come over, grab this, and we'll plug this in right here. And there we go. We don't have very many charges left for our backpack, so we're going to have to get this set up here. So battery tier 1 is where we want. It's 50 power storage here, and there's 2 power sockets. 2 power sockets is really great because you can chain them together. So I'm going to say that we're going to put batteries like maybe like right here, and then I can rotate them to be, let's say, this way. So we'll put one, let's say, here, and then we can do another one right next to that. Yep. Let's put another one right over here like this, and we'll put another one right next to it like so. This should be fine. Okay. So in the interim, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this and put you there. I know they're not like super lined up, and it doesn't really matter, but it is also quite difficult to put them right next to each other. But there is a way to do that, I guess. I think there's a way to alter where it is right now. So if I was switching between menu actions, yeah, Q, and then I can hold R and move it. There we go. So I can fine tune where it's located, but I can't do it in a small movement. So I'd have to put it over here like this first, and then do that again, I think is how I'd have to do it. So Q and then R to move it, and then I can put it really close right here if I want to. Not too close, because then it becomes kind of a challenge for me to highlight the correct socket. See, it's already kind of difficult right there. So I got them chained together, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this. And when I do this, the generator will flip on. It's going to start burning the fuel, right? We have 800 units of fuel, though, on this with the 2. And then we can start to see that those batteries are beginning to charge. So they're going to hold a charge, and then they will discharge whenever I want to do something with the printer. Okay? So now we're set. We don't need to worry about how much power this battery has anymore. Which is good, because this battery has not a lot of power. 169 remaining. Yeah, so if like that's not very much. And actually even less now, because my backpack holds so much, right? So we're going to use the remainder of this power. We'll use that in the crafting setup here. Okay, so the next thing to build, I suppose, for this, just go look at our blueprints here really quick. Let's plug this in really quick. So the next thing to build is to deploy a drill. And so terraforming T1, this drills into the ground and releases small amounts of carbon dioxide to increase atmospheric pressure. Increasing the pressure will clear the fog from the planet. So that's what we're looking to do. All right. We're looking to do this, and it costs us 25 power. In addition, we need 1 pressure core and 1 composite metal to make that happen. So if I come over here, I have some stuff, but I don't remember what the recipes are for that. So a composite metal is 1 iron, 1 regolith. And then the pressure core is 1 silica and 2 sulfur. Well, I have the silica right here. So let's make the pressure core now. Of course, that causes the battery to drain even further. So how much is in it now? Just curious. You have what? Come on. 157. Okay. And so the last thing I need now is to create one of these. I need iron and regolith. Well, I have the iron. So now I just need any regolith that's on the ground, I guess. Which again is out here somewhere. They do have deposits of regolith as well that you can mine and get more. You don't have to just find them randomly on the ground, but I find, at least in the early game, you're going to probably just get them on the ground all the time. And then if you do find a regolith deposit, it's usually when you're looking for something else. So it's not a huge deal. Oh, composite metal, right? So let's make the composite metal. And now we can get a drill going. Now the drill, it takes a lot of power, but it's going to help us in our terraforming efforts by getting rid of this fog and making it much easier to see things. So what the drill does is it's going to take 0.4 power per second, and it's going to get 0.03 terraform per second. And that's just a generic measurement. So we're going to put this, I'm going to put this over here, I think. I don't need it near my power area. This is eventually going to go away anyway. Once the pressure's up to 100%, I can probably just delete the drill. So I think I'm going to just not bother with, putting it in any opportune place, because it's just going to get replaced anyway. So I'm going to place it right here, and then I'm going to grab this, and you see how those batteries are kind of charged. One of them discharged in order to provide power to build this. One of them discharged. But now we have to figure out whether or not this is too much power or not. It might be. So if I add this to the power socket, I should see whether or not these batteries are going down or up still. So this one's got 23, 24 maybe. Yeah, 24 now. Yes. Okay, so it's able to power the drill. And maybe I'll get a second drill. It is an optional objective to get a second drill to help speed this up a little bit faster. But I don't know if I'm in a super big hurry about it. So right now it says disperse the fog and dust storms. That's caused by, raising the pressure. And we get 2% progress on that right now. So as that drill goes, it will constantly do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some storage. It's a good idea to get storage to help you, but I want bigger storages, and I'd like to have mostly everything be big storages. Right now, I've still got this one. I'm not fully utilizing it, although I could be. But I think I'm going to wait until I get to the tier 2s before I start really getting into storages. And then because they're larger and I can put them back to back, they kind of snap in place back to back. And then I'd love to get the tier 3s because they're a little bit longer yet and they're double-sided. Okay, so I went out and got the resources for overlay 1. And overlay 1 is you can just hit 1 and it shows you all your connections. So it'll kind of give me a layout of everything that's there. And now I can see how much power that battery has and all the other batteries and stuff have just by hitting the 1 key on the keyboard. It kind of highlights my whole power grid, which is nice. I also now have the resources for overlay module 2, which will enable the planet overlay as well. So now I can see information about the planet as we go. For example, if I hit 2, there it is. I can see temperature, cryospheric melting, planet frosting. I can see soil coverage, weather information, etc. And right now I've got progress on fog clearance over in the upper left corner. Okay. So that gives you information that way. I probably won't reference it much, but if I ever am curious on what the progress on something is, I can just hit 2 now. And then the final one is for water overlay. We don't really need that yet, which is good because it takes steel. We have no way of getting steel. You have to find it because it's not naturally occurring here. Okay, everything else I think is pretty much done except for the mining module V3. So we need silver ore and aluminum ore. So 2 different resources that I haven't seen yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the silica here for now. Let's really quick charge my battery up to full. And then also, again, this battery only has 131 left. It's a small battery. That battery in there is the same battery as out here. It looks different, but it's the same battery. And so it has the same power capacity, that being 50. And so it's going to stay overcharged until it gets down to 50, and then you can charge it. Then it's possible to recharge it. Although I'm not entirely sure how I would do that. I'm hoping that by just plugging in this module here like this, I'm hoping that by doing that, it will stay charged. And I think that's the way it'll be, but I've never had it fully depleted. Even when I was doing the testing in the demo, I had it in Explorer mode, so I never had it fully like that. So now you'll see this. This is what's happened now. The fuel is almost out on this one, so it's going to disappear, and I'll have to put another one in there. But in general, if no device is running, then we won't be using any power. So I can leave this plugged in, but if I take this out. So like right there, it says cooling down. So it's not generating. It's not running right now, which is cool. So if I detach that, there won't be any device that's using power right now. So I can keep this whole thing connected now at this point, and this thing doesn't have to run all the time because it's got a battery in between it. So you want the batteries in between your fuel generator so that you're not actually using any power if you're not using any devices. And then of course, if I plug into this, it'll charge myself up, but otherwise, yeah. So I'm gonna come over here, and this is empty now. I can pop that extra in that slot, and there we go. And there's a little bit of generation. It's gonna run just for a little bit because I pulled power out of the battery to plug in, my backpack. But that's the only reason it powered on right there, is just because I powered my backpack for a second. Okay, cool. So we need to deploy a Terraform analyzer and acquire a blueprint from the Terraform analyzer. So that's here. And we need glass for this. So for glass, I believe it takes silica, I think is what that happens. Let's go ahead and put this right here. So plug this in, and we want glass, which takes 1 silica and 1 regolith chunk. Okay, so here's my regolith chunk. And here's my silica. And here's my glass. Now I'm going to take this glass outside. And what we'll do is we'll have one of these. Now, this is our research station, essentially. And I'm going to place this, I think, right here, right next to this for now. It's probably fine to have it right next to it. We'll place it right next to it for now. But the other thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need another one of these power extenders. So I need another composite metal. So let me go ahead and gather that. And then we'll have both of these set up, and I can place another one of these extenders. In the meantime, though, just to show you the power tree, or the tech tree, I'm going to go ahead and place this in the socket, and now this will run. And it says 2 new blueprints are available. So if I go ahead and use this, here is how we get new recipes for things. It's all about our progress in terraforming the planet. So right now, I've earned the ability to get a wagon tier 1 and a storage module. This is hugely good because let's go ahead and have them kicked out. And in general, you want to kind of keep them. I think I need to break this thing down, and well, it's okay because this is eventually going to go away anyway, so it's all right. I'll just go ahead and disconnect this and plug it in there instead. And then let's go ahead and get this blueprint like so. And if we can make this wagon, what's really cool about the wagon is that it will follow you. And so you can only have, I think, 4 at a time, but that you can chain behind you and they can follow you. And so, you know, greatly increasing the amount of stuff that you can store in any given trip. And then there's other modules that this is a very modular system. So like, for instance, there are batteries that can be attached to this. There's a bigger mining head, which will unlock the ability to mine more difficult or larger things, right? There's a lot of modularity to the system and I like it. So this just requires a copper wire and some power. And then the storage module wants more composite metal. So I'll go ahead and get stuff for composite metal and then also stuff to build, I think like 2 wagons for now would be pretty good. But for all the other blueprints, do I need to, hold on. Do I need to have, okay, they're right here. Yeah. So I will unlock the battery module and the mining module and the extra storage that I'm waiting for at 675. Okay, so I got enough plates right now to get 3 wagons and 3 storage modules, which I think is pretty neat. So I'm going to go ahead and get wagon 1, and we'll just place it right here for now. Let's put it, we'll have it face, let's have it face this way for now. So place 1 wagon there. It's pretty nice. We'll get another wagon set up and place it right next to that one, right in front of that one, I should say. There we go. And then finally get 1 more wagon placed right in front of that. Okay, then on 2 of the wagons, what I want to do is I want to place storage modules on them. So that's going to be here, and it gives me 4 additional storage slots. So I'm going to place that one right there in the back like that. And then the next one will be placed right here on that one like that. Okay, now this last space, I'm going to reserve this for an extra battery pack. And so that's going to let us go on longer journeys because then it won't just be limited to only mine. And you can see right there that we just reached pressure stage 2. Oh, we can also see that my battery is not charging very fast. So I think we are reaching the power limitations for our 1 fuel generator. And then while out getting sulfur for my extra battery pack, I've also discovered that we have aluminum here. But aluminum, or aluminium, it's aluminum, it's spelled actually aluminum, is... a small size mining laser is required. So this one can only be mined with a vehicle laser, which for now I don't have. There's also a radio tower right here surrounded by a bunch of uranium, which is interesting. Now I'm getting lost on where to go, but I'm going to use my handy dandy compass to guide the way, which also shows me where my crafts are, my wagons. I'm just going to take a little bit of a risky stop here and grab some extra copper from the wire. We'll grab some regolith too while I'm here, and let's head over and we're gonna get going with our modules, and I'll show you. It's so convenient, so much better having these wagons. I'm telling you, these wagons are really worth it, but there's a few extra things we got to do to really just make it truly worth it. So let's plug ourselves in really quick. There we go. And then we want the power extender. That's got to happen. It's going to take my extra power, composite metal. Probably not worth it as much yet. Not worth it as much yet. Real quick, let me come over in here and we're going to grab a power cell. There we go. And then the power cell, I want to make an extra battery. So that's right here. I can't make the extra generator just yet, although if I make my copper wire, I would be able to. So, oh, let's grab my copper wire actually right here. Copper wire. And then I also want 2 more of these regolith rods. There we go. Let's put that back. Okay, 2 more of these rods. Okay, so we're gonna grab this. Let's do the extra fuel generator first. Might as well, before we add power capacity or storage capacity, we'll add this. Let's get myself out of the way here. Okay, so I want to put you right here, and we're gonna put the power switch right next to it. This should be good right here. It's fine. Okay. Then we're going to build an extra battery, and we're going to stick that battery right here next to this. So we'll go right about like that. And then we're going to need another one of these little power switch things too. So I probably need, well, let me see. If I take this copper wire, will it let me make it? It is not. That's the wagon. That's the extra wagon. I needed what now for this? Composite metal. Right. I never remember what I need for this. Composite metal needs 1 iron. I mean, I need more than 1 iron, but I already have the other thing, so I just need 1 iron. So real quick, we're almost there. We're almost done. And then we can have some real fun exploring. This is a very big map. There's a lot going on. This is not the whole game in this little tiny spot. This is just our starting location. So I really want to show you the rest of the world. Not that I know it exactly, because the map does appear to be different than last time I loaded, but yeah, it's composite metal first. Dummy, let's do this. Composite metal, there we go. Okay, now that I have that, it's real quick. Plug myself in because I'm, you know, squeamish about low power. And then let's get a power extender, and we want another one of these. I'm gonna say we can place, oh man, a camera. There we go. Okay, camera, and then I'm gonna go about like this with it. So I'm gonna place this right like so. We'll disconnect that. Actually, yeah, we'll just, I was just powering the drill temporarily off my backpack pack. That's why it was still going. It's sucking down the power off my backpack. Let's go like this, and then I want to go like that. There. So these two are now connected together, and then I can disconnect this. There we go, which is just charging me up now, I guess. Yeah, I don't want that, so let's disconnect completely. And we'll connect you to there. There we go, and then you are going to connect. Oh, no, I need one more of those, don't I? I think I need one more of these. Let me, let's try this instead. I don't want to disconnect. Let go. No, let go. You have to stop completely away from everything to disconnect your cable. We're just going to do it this way. It's a little bit messy, but we're going to do it this way. We're going to take this one and plug it in over here. And then we'll take this one and plug it in over here. Take this one, plug it in right here. Okay, and then this one will go and be plugged in right here. We'll get that more proper later, but that gets us 2 power generators, and then I have the regolith rods, and we'll place the regolith rods in there, and it looks like this one's almost out of fuel, so I'm going to need another rod for that one. But now we have 2 generators, and so those batteries are going to get powered up really quickly and increase our power capacity, which I love. Okay, so now we have access to these. Battery module tier 1, mining laser module tier 1, and the storages. So we're just going to really quick grab those. It spits them out. We pick them up. And we're going to come over here and lay these into here. We're going to need another wagon, too. I can have up to 4 in a chain, so I have room for one more. And we're going to go ahead and get wagon tier 1. Yep. And I'm going to place this one right about there. Okay, now these wagons, we can plug them together. So I can just put like this, and like this. Okay, like this. Okay, and then the crazy part is, if I plug into this, they will follow me. And they're powered off the power of my pack a little bit. So like I'm gonna end up, you know, costing me more power by doing this. But they don't take surprisingly little power compared to what they are. You'd think these would all take a lot of power to move, but we're almost here too. Drill tier 2, fuel generator tier 2, which we kind of want to get to, I suppose, because then I can get rid of the tier 1 ones that I just built. It's okay. We can get a refund on the component, so it's fine. And then a scanner module, which is pretty good too. At the moment, though, what I'm really interested in are these 2, battery modules and mining laser tier 1s. So let me come over to our desk right here again. And what we want are these. So this one takes a power cell, and this one takes a thermogel and glass. So thermogel is a new recipe that we've got in here. And thermogel requires 2 sulfur ore. Okay. So what I'm basically looking for right now is to get 3 sulfur ore. Okay, we can do that. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to charge myself up. And then I'm going to disconnect this because these are kind of useless to me right now. And I'm just going to take these guys. And as I run, right, you can see as I run, they're following me, okay? And what I'm hoping for here is that the sulfur over here is mineable. I may have already taken all of it, and I hope not. There is a large chunk here, but that large chunk is going to require that vehicle laser. And it looks like that's the only one left. So I can't actually get into this one unless I have the laser on the vehicle. So I'm going to have to find another source of sulfur, unfortunately. But while I'm out here, I can explore some of these other things. So like this, for example. This is an Exploration Rover V1, and I can recover memory fragments from this. So by holding this down, we can get memory fragments. In this case, it's memory number 8 in chapter 1. There are many chapters, and there are different memories for each chapter. So we can learn our story and what happens in our past. We're kind of unlocking bits and pieces of the collective consciousness of the robot network that we're a part of or something, right? So it says, no one feared tomorrow. The future felt like an open door that would never close. And that's it. That's the whole memory. But if we can get all of them, then we can read the whole thing like it's a storybook. And I'd really like to do that. I think that sounds like a really cool idea. So anyways, yeah, still looking for sulfur. So tell you what we'll do, because I'm telling you, this game's going to get expanded. And before to answer a question ahead of time, yes, there is a rover that you can drive around that will pull the wagons. And yes, there are many different tiers of these things that can be upgraded. So there are larger ones and more efficient ones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we have to get ourselves to that point first. And then there are other facilities and stuff that we can, research and unlock and look at. But since I'm nearly half battery already, and I'd like to not run out of juice, this has been a very unproductive trip out here because that sulfur is gone. So I'm gonna have to look for another source of sulfur. And so maybe instead of going after the mining laser and the battery, I should instead go after the battery and the scanning module, which I think is what we're about to unlock as we disperse the fog. You can see we're at 93% for that. And there's the scanning module that will let me target specific resources that I've mined in the past. As long as I've actually mined them in the past, I can target them in the scanner, and at the expense of a little extra power, it can guide me on my compass of where those resources are. And I can then go to the nearest one instead of having to wander aimlessly, which is, obviously not the most ideal way of doing things, wandering aimlessly, I mean. So let me just charge myself back up really quickly. Very fast charges now. But instead of getting this, which is the thermogel with more sulfur, maybe I go instead for the... Where is it? Right here. I go for the scanner module instead because we're nearly there. And at stage 3, we unlock that, and then I have that. So how about this? If you guys like it, come on back for the next video where we'll explore the next tier and really get going. And we're gonna go further out than we've gone before in the next video for sure. We're gonna get out really far distances. We're gonna use our wagons and be able to bring a lot more home. All right, and we'll get some storages and stuff set up over here too. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.